today we're excited. We have Ashley Freeman with us. She is the campaign leader for Don't Die Afraid on Instagram, and she has her own YouTube channel, and she's worked really hard to destigmatize mental health within the African American community. So, we're excited to have you, Ashley.
I'm excited to be here.
Right, so let's get started. Thank you for coming on the show. Appreciate you. Been trying to link up for a while now.
Yes.
Ashley has actually been very instrumental in helping me get a lot of the guests on my show. She introduced me to Jessica, and you were trying to get me on with Chelsea, and just a whole bunch of guests. So I would just really appreciate it. So let's go ahead and talk. You've been very, very candid and open about your journey with anxiety. Can you talk to us about that? What it means to you? Just lay it all out.
Yeah. So I started having anxiety and panic attacks about a year ago. Yeah, a year and a half ago. And it was because I was about to graduate with my Master of Public Health, and I had a lot of people around me talking about, plans for after graduation. And it was like January. And I get you're supposed to prepare. And I was just like, can we just savor the moment? And then since their anxiety levels were high, it started to get on me. And I'm like, I don't feel as prepared as they are. And what's going to happen when I graduate? And the world is ending. And that really just catapulted into actual panic attacks. So my first panic attack was on the metro because I had an internship that I had to go to every day, and it came in the feeling of needing to use the restroom. Even though I didn't drink water, I used the restroom before I left to go, but I was just Ashley, you're gonna pee on yourself, you're gonna pee on yourself. And we know that that's the most embarrassing thing that could happen. So that was equivalent to the most embarrassing thing that could happen, which was graduating and not having a job and not having a future. So it was the whole idea of losing control. So I felt I'm losing control of my life once I graduate, and that manifested into losing control of my bladder. But it never actually happened. And then when I would actually go to the restroom, I didn't even have to use the bathroom. It was more so just the thought of having to use the bathroom. So it's funny because I actually hate public restrooms, but during that period of my life, when I would go to the public restroom, I actually felt relieved. And I was like, okay, you can breathe. So those are what my panic attacks look like for me.
That's interesting. Now let me ask you, because I don't know, are there different levels of anxiety, or is anxiety just anxiety? And if so, where do you fall into, categorically speaking?
Yeah. So there are different levels. I don't know per se the titles of them and how they are broken down. But I know I speak to other people about their anxiety and panic attacks, and it really looks different for everyone. So this one girl, she had breathing problems, and that's the way it manifested. So a lot of people that I've spoken to, they've never had the whole bladder thing and losing control, because that wasn't really the issue that was at the top of their mind. Either they were scared, so it had nothing to do with control. It was more fear. So then their heart is racing and then they can't breathe. So I feel I'm somewhere at a low level to a mid level, because I can still do my day-to-day activities. It's just something that pops up that I feel pressured, but I can still go throughout my day without anyone noticing. So I think it's pretty manageable.
So how do you manage this? I mean, are you seeking counseling? I mean, are you currently in counseling? Is it something you're thinking about? Talk to me about that a little bit.
Gotcha. So no, I was in group therapy in high school, but that was it was a group therapy session for children of substance users. And that was because I just wanted to find a community, because during that time dealing with my mom's substance use, it was really depressing and I felt so alone. So going to group therapy for that was really helpful. But since my panic attacks, I haven't ever sought out therapy. I just do a lot of self-care practices. So adult coloring books are my favorite. They're coming back. I encourage everyone to try out an adult coloring book.
I sent you an app.
Yes, you sent me an app. So, if you're not into physically coloring, the app works. And I also do a lot of massages and meditation and things like that. So things on my own, not really seeking outside resources.
That is awesome. Well, let me ask you this. We talked a little bit about your campaign, Don't Die Afraid. Talk to us a little bit about it and, who it's impacted.
Yes. So Don't Die Afraid started almost 4 years ago now, and it started with just me graduating from undergrad and having the same feelings as when I graduated from my master's, what's going to happen with my future? And I had to realize that I was so focused on this one dream of working at NBC because I had interned there for about 3 years. And I was like, oh, my life is all planned out. I know the way that this is going to go. And then, as we all know, once you graduate, no, the hiring manager knows the way that this is going to go. But in school, you're always taught that you have control. You control your friends, your extracurricular activities, whatever you want to do. And then you graduate, and it's like, no, someone else has control. So I had to realize that it's okay if I don't work at NBC. I can do journalism on my own. So that's when I started my platform, Don't Die Afraid. And it was for me to really get out of that fearful sense of like not knowing what my future is like. And it's like, Ashley, there's so many different opportunities and you're interested in so many more things. So go ahead and start your own platform. And then over the years, it's just morphed into a place of empowerment and inspiration that focuses a lot on mental health. So now my whole motto is don't deprive the universe of your amazing contributions because you died afraid. So yeah, and I love speaking at schools. So my real target demographic is young adults all the way up until the age of 24, because those are really like formative years where you're figuring out who you are and you know what you'll stand for, what you won't stand for. So I really love connecting with those audiences.
Now, with this program, do you generally host forums or is it more online based? How do you actually reach out?
Gotcha. So it's both. So online, I have my own community called My Resilient Family. We do mental health check-ins every Wednesday. So I make a little video saying, hey, like, this is how I'm doing. How are you doing? Because we're so used to social media being a highlight reel. People always say like, oh, it's just showing people's best lives. And I'm like, no, y'all, like, my mom just passed away, like, I'm crying, like, I'm sad, how are you doing? And people in the comments, they're so raw and authentic, and I love that. And we're literally a family because we're always talking and supporting each other. So I love the online aspect, but I do love connecting with people in person. So with that, I've created this event series called Mental Health Makeover, Let's Get Uncomfortable. So I did that last October, and then I'm going to do it again this year. And then next year, I'm going to go on tour. So it's both in person and online. And then a lot of people reach out to me to come to their schools. So I've done a lot of talks in high schools and in colleges about resiliency.
Nice.
So yeah, it's both online and off.
Nice. Now, going back to your first panic attack, would you say that these started to manifest once you graduated, or did you have prior panic attacks?
Oh yeah, no, it was
Throughout
before I graduated. So it was starting that February, and I was graduating in that May. So it happened all the time on the Metro from February to May. And then after I graduated, I actually had a job, so I had nothing to worry about. So they ceased when I had my job, and I felt like my life was under control. And then I had a time where I was working for myself, and I was pretty all right then. But then when the savings got low, then the panic attacks started coming back, and I was like, okay. But I was at a better place where I was like, okay, like, I know how to manage this, and it wasn't like the first time all over again.
So if you were speaking to someone right now who just graduated, or somebody who's getting ready to go to college, or is just worrying about just anything in the regular every day, what would you tell them? Like, what would you say?
I would tell them that nobody has it figured out, because that's what children are pressured to think. You know, you're told like, oh, go to your freshman year and figure out your major that you're going to stay with the rest of your life. And a lot of people feel pressured, or they feel limited, and they're like, well, I don't know what I want to do. Does that mean I'm going to be a failure? And a lot of people's response is, yeah, because you don't have it figured out. And it's like, people are always asking you, what are you doing after graduation? What are your plans? And it's like, how about I take it one day at a time? So I would tell people to take it one day at a time. Nobody has it figured out, no matter if you're 18, 24, 54. There are people who reinvent themselves after even retirement, you know? So the world is endless. And really just don't feel limited, and don't take on the pressures that other people put on you, because I feel like sometimes it's not even self-inflicted. It's about everyone around you asking you questions and you feeling like you're mandated to give them answers, but you're not. You're only mandated to give yourself answers. And if you don't have the answers, then that's fine.
It works. Well, we appreciate you for coming on. This was awesome. This was absolutely awesome.
Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing you very soon.
Yes.
And don't die afraid.
Yes.
And continue all the work.
Thank you.